in my background video footage, that's not me. I wish it was, but it's not.
But I will say your video footage does make it look like it's raining on you, Jason.
It does. Yeah, there's some that looks like it's actually bouncing off, and I couldn't believe, I'm like, hey, that's so cool.
Pretty cool. So
but
I have to say, I finally made it work. So
did you?
You're watching this video later and Facebook and YouTube captured the before the live thing. Sometimes they do that. It's a weird thing. We think that we're not live yet, but we actually are. Yeah. You saw a little peek of the time that it takes and the things that I have to do to make this show go live. And it's a lot of cutting and pasting and clicking this button and doing that. And, it doesn't just happen magically. And so
that's right.
A lot of times I fingers crossed, hope to make it look like it's seamless and magic. Sometimes, technology throws a curveball. So it threw me a curveball this morning. We recovered. Here we are. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Welcome to Transportation Talk with Jason and I. And we've got some fun stuff to talk about today, don't we, Jason?
Yes, Kathy, we do. There's so many things. This is the first show of the new year, right?
Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year to you. 2022. It's nice to meet you. I hope you're a little better than 21.
But we're kind of off to a rocky start. We had a snowstorm out here out in our region, and then we had windstorms, and then we've had rain and more wind, and woo, boy.
Yeah, and Kathy, that's the reason why I'm wearing this gear is to kind of give a visual representation of what it's been like the last couple of days. I tell you what, I mean, if you don't have flashlights and water resistant clothing and stuff and high visible hats and all that kind of stuff, it really is kind of a dangerous setting to be out there. And the videos that you see behind me here, that's not too far from what's actually happening or did happen the last couple of days.
Probably still happening now. I mean, it's not right now. It's not doing what my background is right now where I am, but they are predicting more of that, and the roads are still really wet. The rivers are still really full. So it's super, super important that you are aware and that you know what to do when you see, and hopefully don't literally run into a flooded road.
I know. Yeah. We you see some of that part on my background video too, of some vehicles traveling through some of that water. I know we'll talk about that a little later, but when we come to these inclement weather conditions, we want to be, like you say, very aware. We want to not only consider yourself and your safety and your family's safety while you're in your vehicle doing whatever you're doing out there and this stuff, but consider others too. There have been many occasions where there have been accidents caused by someone who probably was out in a condition where they shouldn't have been. And if you have to be rescued, because you've decided to, it's called water fording. If you've forded your car through a water and it stalls there, now you've got people who have to come and rescue you. And we got to be careful with that kind of stuff. Consider, it's like, hey, if you don't have to, don't go out. But we'll talk about that a little later.
That's the main thing, is that really during these times of year and we're having these weather events, if you don't have to go out there, if it's not necessary, don't become a statistic. Stay home.
Yeah, especially if you're riding bicycles. Look at the guy in the background there. I almost did that a couple of mornings ago, and I had my clothes and everything laid out, ready to go. Went outside and walked the dog and realized there was way too much wetness and wind out there for me to even consider it. So I'm glad I was able to get that out of my head and just get to work safely otherwise. So, but
I know I spent my morning looking and watching the ODOT trip check and all the cams around here, setting up warnings and sending out information on our Facebook page to help people to where to find further information and help people find the information that was already out there and being broadcast. And so, because there were some situations that could have potentially been life-threatening. Luckily, from what I know, from what I've heard, we didn't lose anybody to any of those situations. Warrenton, the mayor of Warrenton declared made an emergency declaration for the city of Warrenton yesterday, which was not so that people would have to evacuate or anything, and not because lives were in danger at that moment, but so that he could get some help and some forces
Right.
so that they could take some preventative measures so that we wouldn't have those situations. And so a
Yep.
lot of stuff going on to keep people safe. And so, yeah.
Absolutely. And follow those, instructions, follow those, Kathy, when you put those things out, and so forth. I mean, I work with you and I work for the district and stuff, but I love to see those things, and I go through those links, and it does give me the information that I need, and or at least it leads me into the right direction. So thank you for doing
Right.
that. I think
You're
it's
welcome.
important. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
great.
I know we're a community member, and it's not just, what we talk about isn't just talking about riding the bus. It's talking
That's
about
right.
getting around and how you navigate your life. And
Right.
you need that information to navigate safely often. And so I'm happy to look for it and put it up there. I'm not, your only information source, hopefully.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
that is why I put up links and things and information to where you can find out things that are more specific to you.
Yep. And
But
so, Kathy,
hey,
we've got this new year now, right? And
we
even though
do.
we're going through this, and even though we've got a lot of rain out there, and we've gone through a lot of rain, we've had a snowstorm that we haven't had in quite a long time and
Oof.
stuff. But here we are now. We're in 2022, Kathy, and I don't know about you, but I'm telling you, looking at this time of year, Christmas time is my favorite time of year. I love that time of year, but then quickly, I almost don't like this new time of year. I know it's the beginning of a new year, fresh start to everything, but there's some real things that I need to sit down and consider this time of year. And that's what I think we're going to talk about today, right?
I know. Yes. It's that time of year where everybody kind of looks at their life and makes plans to be a new, better, fresh start, do all the things that they didn't do the year before. They're going to transform themselves magically into the person that you see on all those advertisements, right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's exactly what happens. And that's the reason why it's usually hard for me. I admittedly, at the beginning of the year, I keep looking at myself like, well, okay, so what do I want to do? And then I have to look at, well, what didn't I do? Or what did I, or the way I view it, and it's just me. So I look at what did I fail at, in 21 that I can work to complete in 22. And Kathy, this first option, that's a big one.
Yeah, and I just want to say that you said a mouthful right there. That whole looking forward, looking back thing. And when you look back and you're looking back at what you are saying, what you consider failures.
Yes.
I think part of this conversation should definitely be reframing things and not calling yourself or the things that you did failures. They're just,
that's a good point.
You move forward and move towards the goal that you want to accomplish, not
right.
Getting stuck in the backwards of what didn't happen the year before. Who knows what obstacles were in the way, and
that's true.
That can be really huge for some people. And so I just think that one of the most popular New Year's resolutions out there is, hey, I'm going to become that new person, and I'm going to lose 100 pounds, 50 pounds,
Absolutely.
20 pounds, 5 pounds, whatever, 200.
Yes.
That's the thing. This is not, we get fed this information from all the different sources. I'm going to make this resolution and I am going to lose weight.
Yep. Yes. And that happens every year. At least for someone in my case, you guys don't get to see me, and I know visuals aren't everything, but I am overweight. And I think the majority of Americans right now are currently overweight. But having said that, though, yes, every year I look at this and I think, how can I successfully lose weight to the point of where I want to be at and so forth. And ultimately I end up failing to look at what's just healthy. Sometimes when you say what, the way I want to look at, or what kind of clothes I want to wear or something, it usually helps set unrealistic goals. So I typically like to look at my weight loss on a yearly basis as goals. There are so many ads out there. There are so many gimmicks that people are telling you, hey, you got to do this, you should do that. I can walk right out the door right now and probably get 15 different comments on things that have worked for other people, which are great and fine. But I really need to look out there and be really circumspectly looking for things that work for me, Kathy.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what I meant by, there's information coming at us from all different
Yeah.
directions about weight loss is a resolution. How
Yep.
many people out there? I mean, I would venture, it's close to probably 80-90% of people in America, adults, have that, when they're back of their mind that they've been
Yep.
fed this information, that should be one of their resolutions for the new year. And,
Yeah.
maybe it should be a goal. And maybe it should, I think a better goal though is just to be healthy, to become
Yes.
a healthier you. And
Yes.
along with that comes then the next resolution that gets pushed on people out there, which
Oh,
is,
yes.
to be a healthier you, to be the best you can be, you gotta exercise more, and you
Yep.
gotta go to the gym, and here's a discount on a gym membership, and sign up for the whole year, and we'll give you this discount. And
Yep.
that's another thing, right?
Oh yeah, well, especially too. I mean, not only come be a part of my gym, which in no way, shape, or form are we saying you shouldn't go join a gym.
No,
That's
no.
great if that's something
Yeah.
that you want to do. But like in my case, I mean, the what I did is I kind of built my own home gym, which costs a little bit of money and stuff. But that was also kind of said, yeah, do this and do that. But ultimately, what I ended up doing though is getting to a point to where I knew that every day I could wake up and exercise. And of course, that's easier said than done. I have to get into a routine to be able to get that done and stuff. But I'll tell you what, Kathy, I'm going to ask you what you think my favorite sport is. We've talked about this before. If anybody out there has ever known a favorite sport of mine, this is what it is. I'll give you 2 seconds. 1, 2. Do you get it?
Starts with a B.
Oh, it is. It is. It does start with a B. It is called
It's not baseball.
Yeah, it's not backgammon either. I love to play basketball, Kathy. I get up at Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings every week at 5 o'clock in the morning and go play basketball with a bunch of other guys. And we have a blast. It's fun, get a lot of exercise in there, and it's one thing that works for me, because the reason why I like it is because it's a team-oriented sport. I get to not only exercise my muscles and stuff, but I exercise my brain too. Because don't let people tell you any differently. Exercising and doing sports is half physical and half mental. So I like to kind of do that before I get to work and all that. But now I have to look for other means too, because basketball sometimes gets canceled and everything due to all that darn COVID, is out there and stuff. So we need to make sure we keep it safe and back away for a little while. And we're in that moment now. So now I have to work out, get up in the morning, figure out what I need to do, and get those calories burned, those muscles going and all that kind of stuff, the blood pumping. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
What do you like to do, Kathy? Is there anything you like to do? I mean, I know you walk your dog a lot.
Walk my dog a lot. And I like going out there in the woods and out on the beach. And, so walking is a big thing. I really enjoy being out in the fresh air. And I would say, that is such an important thing, just to be out there in the fresh air. It's not just physically good for you, it's also mentally good for you. Before I get too sidetracked, the other top resolution that people make out there is to get organized.
Oh.
I've got and that can be a huge challenge. And so we're talking about these resolutions, and these are not easy things to do. I mean, we make them, these resolutions, to do these things, and it's easy to write them down, or it's easy to say them, but the actual work behind them is not easy. And those are huge accomplishments if you're able to get them accomplished. So getting organized, whether it's organizing your calendar, organizing things, organizing your house, organizing my office, I can't even get my head around. And I find that for me, the best way to feel like I can do something and get organized is to do a little project and get organized on a little project, get something organized. And whether that's, time scheduling and making sure that I can, leave a little bit of space. And so.
Kathy, I really hope, I usually always want my family members to watch these shows because I feel it's good information, plausible, strong, great information to have. But, this one is a huge weakness on my part, and I don't look at it enough. I really, really don't. And so if my wife is watching, please, I am going to be talking about things that might or may not be on a script. Okay. It does not mean that I have somehow taken my 2022 and already solidified my new goal of getting organized. I'm not there yet. Okay, it might seem like I am. I only play an expert here, but I'm no expert. I tell you, getting organized is one of the hardest things to do, Kathy. And we had a little talk about that. To do this show and the things that I do, for mobility management and travel training, I have a lot of camera gear, a lot of GoPro type gear. I try to organize and it doesn't always work out. So I have to kind of, what I call is when I'm here at work, I do like a monthly audit and I go through, make sure all my pieces of camera gear are where they need to be. But like what you said, though, find something small and accomplish that and move to the next project.
Well, and celebrate that success. That's the thing, is
yes.
You have to actually acknowledge that was a success in your
Yes.
goal. And if you just brush over it, then you don't get the benefit of it. And so I think that is super important, is to just be able to celebrate and acknowledge the smallest successes so that helps you move towards the bigger goals. And so I'm curious, I'd love it if people would put in the comments some of their resolutions or pledges that they've made to themselves this year and what they're hoping to accomplish. And you can look back at them later on. Nobody's going to judge you for any of them. This is all all just out there so that we can hopefully help each other get to accomplish those goals.
What works, right?
Yeah. And a lot of you out there are probably thinking, okay, you guys have been talking for a while. What the heck does this have to do with transportation? What does it have to do with transportation?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question. And I'm sure people looking at it be like, what does all this have to do with transportation? Well, I'll tell you what, Kathy, is we're walking. Oh, did I just say walking? Moving as we're moving on to the next subject, or as we could be walking on to the next subject, who knows?
Sure.
But you look at all these things and part of these goals that we're looking at. Okay, so for example, I mean, we may be looking at like a weight loss goal, or to become healthier. Well, a great part of becoming healthier is to get out there and test your skills on public transit, maybe. Go out, walk to your bus stop, get on a bus, go somewhere else that you haven't been in a while, get off there and walk around and enjoy your time. And
then just get back on the bus, and
then get back on the bus, right? I mean, that kind of stuff can happen. Or there are other transportation options that other people can give a try too, right?
Absolutely. This is a great time of year. When you've got these resolutions and things, it's a great time of year to try new things. So if you haven't taken a walk on the prom in Seaside in a long time or ever, now's a great time to give that a try. If you've never ridden the bus, we can help you do that. And you know what? Just ask us. We won't even charge you for this help in this, starting out new habits and tips and things. We don't charge for this. This is all part of our jobs, and we do it for you, and we do it free. So, this is not a one-time offer. This is not a, beginning of the year offer. We'll do it any time of year, anytime. We'll help you. And trying these new things is all part of us helping you be successful with any of those other resolutions that we talked about that you might have made earlier. Weight loss, exercise, getting organized, all of those things you can practice and be successful at with our help, of course, or not if you don't need it.
Sure.
It being able to, accomplish those goals.
Yeah, I mean, Kathy, as we start out this year and everything, we have had, we had settled into a group of habits and roads that we've all gone down that are not maybe conducive or maybe have kind of softened over the last year and so forth. But now as we're going out and starting out into this new year, it's exciting. There's opportunities out there, like you mentioned. We're here to help you develop what gets kind of a bad rap sometime, right? Is you hear things, bad habits, bad this, but the reality is you can have a good habit too. And for me, one of those good habits could be riding a bicycle. I hate to put it that way because I love riding bicycles. I'd love just to get out and ride on a bicycle. But maybe there's some people out there who want to challenge themselves and say, you know what? I want to commute. I want to commute a certain amount of time. Maybe I want to take 20% away from my car and replace that with cycling. But there's some things that you have to do in order to get into that. And sometimes that frame of mind has to be like, it turns into a habit. You get your routine every morning. You drink your coffee, you get your power bar, and you hop on your bicycle. Make sure you got all your stuff, and you got all the checks on your bicycle that you need to do to make sure it's safe. And then you go and you commute. Those are the kind of things that I hope people try to do in 2022. I think it's well within a lot of people's reach.
Exactly. And I think that one of the important things to remember is, just like those other goals, if you try and eat the whole elephant at once, you're not going to be successful.
That's right.
You got to do it one bite at a time. And so if you want to, by the end of the year, do half of your commute trips by bicycle, start now by driving your bike around the block once.
Sure.
Start now by riding your bike to the bus, your closest bus stop. Start now with just a small piece of that, and then you can grow and learn and expand on that, rather than trying to eat the whole elephant at once.
Sometimes it can be as easy as just taking your bike out, dusting it off, taking a look at it, and putting it by your front door rather than stuffed away in the garage somewhere. Do those safety checks early before springtime, so you're ready to go. So it can be something as simple as that, even too, just to kind of start getting down into that mode and learning that good habit. And if
you're one of those people that you're never going to get me on a bike type of person, like we know at least there's one person in our circle that may be watching this, that is one of those people, then choose something else. Pull out those roller skates.
Pull out the roller skates. Yes.
Pull out the roller skates. Pull out the roller blades.
Yep.
Walk.
Agreed.
Roll. Scooter, something different and new that gets you out there breathing that fresh air, because it's good, not just for your body, it's also for your mental health.
So Kathy, alternatively, what comes easiest to us mentally right now is to hop out and get into a very expensive form of transportation that has a lot of challenges right during this time of year, during these bad weather months and so forth. And is that getting into your car? I'm not saying your car's a bad thing and don't ever drive in your car anymore, but take that challenge to get out of that car a little more and take alternative means of transportation. Because I'll tell you what, gas, insurance, and potential accidents, especially during the icy weather, holy cow, there were so many fender benders and stuff, and so much, wasted money, and all that. So you just have to be cautious, be careful about what you do out there. And you know what? Instead of maybe getting in that car and driving that trip with only you in the car, maybe you should think about something else.
Actually, I'm glad you mentioned it, Jason, because one of the reasons I wanted to talk about these things today was a Facebook post that I saw. And it was a Facebook post that I saw from somebody that had gotten in an accident. And so they suddenly no longer had the use of their car during these weather events. They had an accident and they were okay, but their car was not. And so they now suddenly found themselves without a vehicle and needing to get to work. And so I just, it just kind of inspired some thoughts. And I just wanted to say to folks out there, hey, now's a great time to try new habits. If you want to practice this before you're forced into it, or if you're in a situation where you suddenly don't have a vehicle, and organizing a carpool from your workplace or from your home to your workplace is something that you want to do, reach out to me and I can talk to your employer. I can work with you to create a specific carpool group for your employment place. And, so it's not just you'd be carpooling with just anybody. You may be just carpooling with people that you work with, but we have tools to help you with that. And I just really wanted to say that now is a good time to think ahead and, let's put some of those security measures in place so that people aren't in their cars having to navigate these situations by themselves or find themselves caught out when they don't have transportation suddenly.
Yeah, and by doing that's so well said, Kathy. I think it's just we need to also understand too, as we move forward, that by learning those other things and practicing now other transportation options and learning how to better your mobility portfolio. I guess, wasn't that kind of a term we used early on a long time ago? Okay, well, just to kind of strengthen your transportation portfolio or mobility portfolio is to get out and learn those new things, because it not only does it have a wonderful effect on your mental health, your physical health, getting out and stretching your legs a little more, and using public transit. It really does come right down to it. I mean, who wants that extra little bit of tailpipe emission, right, from your vehicle? I don't want to, put that extra tailpipe emission out. I don't want to be breathing in that if I don't have to, and so forth. So maybe just reducing that, and maybe as a community, as we realize, like you said, we're going right back to that original piece of advice on organizing, right, is to maybe take a little bite size.
Right. Transportation and commute emissions is one of the biggest contributing factors to greenhouse gas emissions. And so if just each of us took one day a week and didn't drive our own car, and took one car off the road for that day, that would make a huge impact. And so
absolutely,
it's just one of those things. And the amount of stress that it takes off of your shoulders when you don't have to be the one driving is just, the benefits to that are not immeasurable. So I just have to say that.
Well, and Kathy, and I know that you've said this before, quite frankly, say it quite often too, is it's yet another benefit to doing it is getting to know your community a little more, getting to know your neighbors, right? And I just love the fact that those are things that you bring out, that you help people to understand. It's like, okay, so we've taken care of your mental health, physical health, maybe. Those are some good options that transit can help you with, and so forth, or transportation options. But then you look into knocking down that those emissions out there that create higher greenhouse gases and so forth. But then here we go. Let's embed our community. Let's get to know each other a little better. Let's recognize who we are. We're I guess it kind of goes without saying right now, we're a little off cantered, aren't we? As a community, maybe some of this, maybe just a little bit, a little piece, a little carpool here and there can help bring that kind of a line right back, and we can learn to come together a little more. So I mean, what do you think about that? Yeah.
I do. I think that's super important. And, it's just, that's why I post community related safety notices on the Facebook page, and why I tune into that, because, a community is a holistic thing. And in order to be a healthy person and a healthy community, we do have to think about all of those things. And so I think it's a great opportunity to wrap up the show just with that safety message again.
Absolutely.
We've got these inclement weather situations. We've got potential hazardous situations on the road.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to play this video because it's got this catchy little tune in it that I would love to go out on. So
I know. Let's do it, Kathy. This is
give me a second so cool. I can
love it.
cue it up. And
it's some very it's going to have some very good pieces of advice in there, everybody. If you're going to watch this, don't be afraid to just go out and watch it and share it with your other friends and so forth. I think you're going to really like it. It's got a great message, so pertinent for this time of year.
Si
okay.
Llega un camino o un puente inundado, de la vuelta, no se ahogue, no se arriesgue su vida, eres muy importante, de la vuelta, no se ahogue.
That wouldn't be much fun.
Recuérdelo siempre ante la duda, de la vuelta, no se ahogue, de la vuelta, no se ahogue.
And I don't know if anybody understood that, but here, let me do that again.
If the water is flowing at the low water crossing, turn around, turn around.
Yeah.
Don't risk your life.
Hey.
Yeah, don't risk your life.
You might not make it through it.
There we go.
Turn around. Might take a little time
That's bad.
to heed the warning signs and turn around. Turn around. Turn around. And don't drown.
Kathy, that is a great way to go out, as a great visual and audio representation of, hey, turn around, don't drown. Or what do they say in Spanish?
De la vuelta, no se ahoga.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, we need to do that. And you know what? Who knows? We still might have some high water around here, everybody, this weekend. So be extra careful. It has been a wonderful time talking to you again, right, Kathy? It's been a lot of fun.
Yes, and we're definitely not out of the flooding season.
Right.
So even if
Mhm.
it doesn't happen right now, just remember those catchy tunes. Turn around, don't drown. De la vuelta,
Yep.
no se ahoga.
Right.
Super, super important. It's been a pleasure.
Yes.
Welcome 2022. Can't believe I'm saying that. That
I
just
know.
sounds so weird. Can't get
It
over
does.
it.
It does.
Jason, it's been a great show.
It's been a great show, Kathy. A lot of fun. Thank you so much for
We'll see
everything
you in
you
another
do.
week.